Hi, everybody. We are well into Christmas introduction animation season. When does that stop? When does that switch over? Never. Probably never. That sounds right. Let's see. Where is the open workspace? Open recent? No. Open folder. But where would it be? Here we go. Intro. But where would be? Is it scenes? Is it holiday? Holiday. Where do we even find holiday? Where does that happen? Here we go. Right up until the 25th. Can't watch Joe play Hollow Knight. What? Why not? I mean, you get what you get with a Germ Dub stream, right? There's a tinge of negativity floating around there. But you know what? You know what? I got some positivity to balance it out on this holiday season. Everybody, we have a new working move for Leon. Leon is viable. His main attack is not done. I need to rework his main attack because right now the animation is really sluggish. There's no action command that's worth doing, but we now have completed Paint Feint. There it is, and it works. It works better with a controller. It works okay with keyboard. Now, why is that? Well, it just looks better with the analog nature of a control stick. So here we go. It goes on the party. And there you go. That's the move. I need to make it a set number of colors, I think. Right now I have it randomly choosing the hue. And I don't think that's good. So, the first bubble that you get is a freebie. There's no spikes around it. Every subsequent bubble nets you 1 coin flip for a max of 2 coin flips. So if you connect all 3 dots, then that's a 2 coin flip maneuver. The status effect still needs its own icon and sound effect because right now it does not have that. I'll do some kind of like shimmery sound, I guess. But yeah, it works. It blocks instances. So if an enemy has like 1 really powerful attack, Leon can block it. In fact, if you get 2 coins, that's a 3 out of 4 chance of blocking it completely, as long as it's the only instance of damage. So Leon's move would be very effective against single damage instance boss fights, but not against multi-attacks. So there's a balance there, and you have to consider it. It makes me want to include something. How is the chance calculated? It's coin flips. when you have the status effect, it is guaranteed block. It is guaranteed. No, it's guaranteed block. I mean 3 out of 4 chance of getting the status effect in the first place, because you're not guaranteed to get it. It is a coin flip, but it's a good coin flip. And here's what's nice about it. I'm comparing it. I'm drawing a comparison to Thousand Year Door. Vivian has an attack called Veil. It's very cheap. You are drawn into the shadows, and you negate all damage until the next turn. But you also miss your next turn. So you can't use it to perpetually void damage. You can use it to void one attack, but you trade it for the next turn's damage. And you're out a turn from Vivian. So this one's a little bit different because it can negate damage, but it maxes out at 2 instances, so there is a way around it. And additionally, you have a chance, even with perfect action commands, you got a 25% chance of just outright not getting it. And then like a 6% chance of not getting it for anyone. So it's gonna have what I want to make sure we do is the final boss of Chapter 2. I want to make sure we include a well choreographed, like a well, advertised. What is it? Hinted at an attack that is very obviously coming. To make sure that you can take advantage of Leon's ability. So what was I saying here? The issue, the color of the status effect, right? Oh, that's done by the decoy. Battle decoy. Yeah, we get a random color here. Let's instead give it a series of potential colors. And then do pick random. Exactly. Orange seems good. Lime, not as good. Blue, though. Purple's probably fine. Not cyan, too light of a color. This might be good enough. Yeah, but I'm really proud of the rainbow effect of the paint. These spikes are barely noticeable, huh? Whoops. Oh, right. Haha. There we go. That's better. And so the nice thing is I can still attack. But who's gonna be? He can still get through if they both use their attacks on me. And then status effect goes away. There you go. It's not hard. It's really easy. And there's a good 4 or 5 different portraits for Dabble and Leon. So I think that's good for variety. There's also one for Cat. There's also a default one for enemies, just in case. Currently, there is no way for an enemy to get that status effect. But let's say I don't know, somehow there's like a, in the distant future, there's some kind of switch status effects with the enemy thing. The idea being that you steal good status effects and give them bad status effects or something like that. I want to make sure that we handle that kind of case. But yeah, that's much better. So remaining on this, the status effect itself needs a good icon and a good sound effect. Let's do status effects. Status effects are in UI, right? Yes, as a matter of fact, they are in UI. Stuck, I think, needs a rework, doesn't it? Would it need to be steal, or could Leon throw a picture at an enemy that makes the other attack it out of confusion? Confusion is its own status effect, and it has nothing to do with Leon. In fact, there's no way to get confusion yet either. Typically, confusion, there it is right there, is a fairly powerful status effect. And so we gotta be careful about how that becomes possible. I think most of the powerful status effects attacks you get in Thousand Year Door are often the fourth partner move. That is to say that partners gain the ability to unlock a third move in exchange for these tokens that you can collect throughout the game. And then eventually you unlock the ability to grab a fourth move for your partners that is more expensive, but you don't even unlock that ability until after Chapter 5, because you need Bobbery. Yeah, it's in the secret room in Hooktail Castle, which you wouldn't even... Why would you even check that? I don't remember getting a hint about that. But that is where you get things like Rallywink, which is get an extra turn for Mario, so that you can basically pour all of your stuff, all of your damage dealing stuff onto Mario, and then give him a second turn per round. Ridiculously powerful. Okay. Decoy as a status effect. What does that look like? I don't want it to be too on the nose with just being the easel, because this should just be, what is... It could be like a training dummy, which basically is like the Scarecrow, right? So it would be like... That looks horrifying. Okay, that one was a bad idea. It's not really a shield. Something that the enemy's attacks get diverted to. Could be just an arrow. Arrow with a question mark. Might be something to that, right? Smooth that. I accidentally had the rotation bad. Now the edge is all fuzzy. That could be decent. I like that one. I like that okay. Main color of the status effect. want it to be... lime? Lime is good. Let's do lime. Alright, there you go. It is done. Alright, now I gotta go grab that file. And throw it into here. Boom. Done. Side effect directory index. 14 is stuck. So this is 15, 16, 17, 18. Got it. Next up, we need a sound effect. I mentioned like a shimmering sound, and I think there is actually an instrument in Beatbox called Shimmer or something. Maybe I'm making that up. Never mind. The way I really enjoy doing this status effect noise is just kind of like a wiggly note. Let's try some different instruments. So let's lower this. Let's remove this. Let's do this. And let's do this. There we go. It's a little silly. Is there a way that we can do it with like a positive? Try some different things here. That one seems fine to me. Let's go with that. Luckily, I like to maintain the URL for the individual code for each of these sound effects as we do these. So that if I decide that they need to be slightly altered, it can be done. One time through. Save file. Give me that file. This is decoy sound effect. That needs to go into the audio sound effects. Oops. We have a status effect folder. There we go. Throw that in. Copy the address. And now in status effect directory, we just say that that is the name of the sound. And we're done. Easy. Not a problem at all. Now we have a unique sound. Also, I feel like the sound effects for the Connect the Dots minigame. What's going on here? Stream Player 2D. How did I manage to pull that off? I feel like the sound effects are too quiet. So I'm gonna make them louder. hear the error sound at all. Oh wait, it's probably because of... let's change that to audio stream player generic. I don't know if that's really going to be enough, but maybe. The ticking sound is meant to indicate that you are being timed. Oops. You got me. You got me. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, that works. Hey, Rock Roberts. I'd say it's going really, really well. Got a new move completed, which involves... Oh, you know what? He should really do a little animation. He should do a little animation before this happens. There we go. That works. That looks great. I love it. Easel, maybe outfit change. Should he put on a smock and a beret and hold up a paintbrush? Instead of doing a full-on animation of him changing, it could be he starts, like, I don't know, arms up, spins around, and then boom, strike a pose. And then just, I don't know, switch back at the end. $1,000 course of Godot. How much is there to learn? I mean, admittedly, yes, there is a lot to learn, but there can't be that much unique to Godot that's not just available. That seems ridiculous that even exists. That there's that. I guess, you know what? So many game devs really make their money off of just tutorial videos and, you know, buy my course kind of stuff, which, you know, hey, I respect it. But of course, it's like, if you have that at, like, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks, and then there's 30 of them, it's like, okay, yeah, $1,000. Okay, that makes sense now. There's like a huge overlap of information, but they don't need toes. The toes are implied. So we're gonna need to work on... Dang it, this is definite feature bloat. There's 100% some feature bloat, guys. We're gonna need to work on Leon ever so slightly. Thank you for the lizard smack. Okay, let's see. Artist smock. What is a smock? What the heck is a smock? It's ridiculous. Smock. Just making things up. Nice, nice. I mean, it sounds like a bargain. All right, here we go. We're smocking it up, you guys. Let me look at a smock. Let me look at a smock in more detail. This guy does not look like he wants to be modeling a smock. I'll keep the backpack. I mean, that's that honestly, that's a great starting game to learn, isn't it? It's a smock. I'll give him some little. I'll give him a little pocket with some paintbrushes. Don't remember anything from making it. I mean, you picked up some skills, whether you know it or not. There we go. Paintbrushes. He's an artiste. Okay, and now, nice artist smock. Let's just do it this way. What am I thinking? No, it should be primary colors of... Yeah, there we go. Aha! Ha-ha! And then, just to be sure here, pick up a little bit more color there. Just go in behind it, just to make sure we're good. Smock. And then... Oh yeah, we should color it. Give it a little bit of those old dry bristles, huh? And you know what? Let's give him a little bit of splotch. He's an artist. Okay, and then the hat. This chameleon needs a beret. Artiste. He's a little bit artistic. Tricky. Okay, duplicate. Hide the original. Let's move these down a bit so I got some working room. Oh, Expedition 33 lizards. Do you want this to kind of pinch in a bit? Probably. All right. They said it couldn't be done. It's circle bird French. What color is his beret? It should be the same as his regular hat, right? It should be the exact same as his regular hat because he loves his hat. There's a touching moment once you get to chapter 12 where he loses his hat and he grows as a person. that was pretty nice. Where's some dumb? That's fine. All right, I'll take it. His glasses are down there. Don't cut his glasses up. How big is this? Like 200 pixels? Should he have paint on his face? Eh, he's fine. All right. Leon, updated. Actors. Leon. There he is. Update his art. All right. All right. Let's start in 2D here. Duplicate hat, and let's make beret. So his hat is going to disappear when he does this. Oh wow, that looks good. That looks good. And then his body is going to add smock. Let's see if this works out all right. Ooh. A little big. A little bit too long, as it turns out. Can we get away with just scaling it? Yeah, we can. We can. It's still close enough. Oh, the brushes. They're under his arm. No. All right. The brushes are going to be kind of a little hidden detail. Can't really get those to stand out. It works. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Smock. He needs a little paintbrush to hold up in his hand. He needs a tiny little paintbrush for his hand. Sure, and then sure, and then let's do it this way. Purple, blue, sure, doesn't matter, doesn't matter. There we go. Hey, Slav. Welcome in. All right. There's our little colorful paintbrush accessory. So that updated file. Copy it in. Add that to ARM 2, maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right, this animation is mostly just going to be a it's just going to be a pose. ARM2 container gains brush. Head container gains beret. Right under hat. Nope. Here. And then smock is added right beneath body. Done. Okay. So we're gonna say new animation, paint pose. What's it look like? Well, ARM2 rotation goes there. ARM1 rotation goes there. Brush visibility change to on. Brush rotation and position. Let's adjust that slightly. Looks great. Smock becomes visible. Hat visibility. Hat becomes invisible. Beret becomes visible. There we go. Also, you know what else? Let's see. There we go. Now you can see the brushes. Let's say he does a little. Let's say he does a little hop up, right? Okay, had to make sure that was resettable. So yeah, he does a little hop up. Wait a second. There should already be a reset for that. Well, let's do it this way. Paint pose. Great reset. Now delete it. Now move it. Fun painting a little. Yeah. There we go. And then his feet. His little feetsies. Let's rotate those. Sure. Looks good to me. All right. Take our animation player, return it to this. Take a look in 3D at paint pose. Uh-oh, paintbrush rotation and position is still where it was before, which is copy value and 39 degrees. There we go. He's gonna do a little spin, switch to this pose, and that's gonna be the animation. So let's go over to the moves. Currently, it just dumps you right into starting the action command, and that's not what we want to do. Instead, we're going to change animation to paint pose. But before that, there's probably a shared moves, right? No. Moves. What's the... It's shared animation. Here we go. This is an example. Twist. Shared animation twist. How long does twist last? Half a second. Okay, so yeah, wait to 50. Change to paint pose. Wait an additional 250 for that to fade out. And then when it is all done, change back to idle. There you go. That might do it. Yellow is hard to see. Take that out of the color for the decoy. Yellow. Oh, orange. Take orange out. Blue, red, or purple. Yes, he's not gonna stay in that. No. He goes back to his normal animation. All right. Cool. Done, 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 done. All right. Cool. MVP for Chapter 2. Basically just the dungeon. Technically, Leon's attack animation for his main attack is not very good right now. It's a little clunky, but that I'm not as worried about that. I'm willing to put this in Pass 2. All right. Let's get some scratch paper out. Oh, all right. Yay, we did it. That was good. That was good. Oh, is that audio still okay? It looks like it's not screwed up or anything. All right. Chapter 2 Dungeon. Chapter 2 Dungeon. Look at these nice little sketching tools. Perfect. Let's get in the mood here. Oh, it's not plugged in all the way. Try again. that happen. Okay, we're good. All right. Dungeon 2. We're reworking the layout of Dungeon 2. So, what do we need here? Let's turn on the grid. Never mind, I hate it. Okay. So things we've got for Dungeon 2. The running theme that we've got is electricity. We've got these wires that are carrying electricity from machine to machine. And the main goal is to power some kind of central elevator in the middle of the dungeon that's going to take you up to the final boss. Now for that, we've got a few tools at our disposal. Yes, it is an old abandoned power plant. Initial planning was a heliosphere. Angled mirrors pointed to a central solar collector. That has been changed. It's now solar, and this is kind of the tower in the center that sort of controls it all. Kind of diverts the power to the appropriate something or other. It doesn't matter. All right, so we've got, we're getting electricity plugged around. One way to get that is these big machines that have a little like pipe dream puzzle where you're connecting tiles to like basically do a little connect the dots thing. It's pipe dream, and then little light bulbs on the top are like, yeah, you did it. And that lets power proceed to another area. Don't worry, I've only been staring at the mod page. You know, they're updating Angel's mod to 2.0. I just like to look at the recently updated mods to keep an eye out for space exploration 0.8. It's viable in 2.0 now. It works. It's not complete. It's not feature complete. Arundel's not done with it or anything, but it's going. It's making progress. Also, the guy that made the Cube mod, Ultra Cube. Ultra Cube mod guy is making a game, which is just Factorio. He's just making Factorio with like very minor tweaks. And that's a I don't know. I guess there's got to be something fun about building a factory builder. But it's like you gotta give credit to the Woob Studio guys. They have absolutely optimized that game to a ridiculous degree. It is very impressive. The other thing we have available is the spinning gears that charge Dabble. And let him carry electricity to these little like electrical discharge pylons. What is this? This is Dungeon 2. We're planning it again because I have to redo parts of it because it's just not very good. So we're just gonna do a little bit of rework on it. Have some fun tonight. Dun, dun. It looks like the Sonic 2. Does it? I don't know. I didn't have a Sega. Do 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 do. Okay, so we got electrical power that you can carry a short distance. I don't know. The key with carrying the electrical power is you cannot use your gear. The button that discharges the electricity is also the button you normally use to attach to a gear spinner. So there's something with that we could probably use, of some puzzle where it's trivial if you can use your gear to, you know, go across this little bridge or whatever, but you gotta somehow figure out how to get power across. There's something there. We're also gonna have a handful. I've already got a handful of long hallways where it's easy baby mode. Get to the end of the hallway. There's a few enemies. You can pretty easily dodge them, but then you go and you do something in the next room with one of these puzzle boxes, and that gets the electricity flowing in the room, and now it's electrified in some interesting way, and it's like, suddenly it's a platforming challenge. This room has been recontextualized. Ooh, that's gonna be good. So I've got 2 of those hallways already done. The exact way we're gonna do those, I'm not sure about. All right, so let's talk original layout plans. Actually, let's leave that, and let's just make a new layer. No. Wait. We do need this. This needs to be its own layer because that's such an important thing. Because people need to know what we're working on. All right, so let's get rid of this. Original layout of the dungeon. Idea was basically entry hall. This is where you fight the mid-boss of Chapter 2. It still will be. And it is also where you get Leon immediately after. It is laid out in elevation like this. Leon's ability is kind of a grappling hook that lets you swing. So the idea is once you go into the room, you cannot get out without Leon's help. This forces you to switch or to use Leon's field ability because you're not leaving this room until you use Leon's field ability to get across. So you do understand it. This is kind of just all right, now you understand you have a new ability now, right? Right, player? I'm really not trusting the player here, and I'm making it abundantly clear. So that is what the entry room looks like. Original plan is that dumps you immediately into what is effectively the hub room, which is a vertical chamber. Let's give it a little bit of elevation. A vertical chamber, a little bit of perspective. With the boss up through the top, maybe a big door at the top for the boss. I don't know. But the idea is the elevator only has enough power to get you up a little bit. Only a little bit. And so you would have to go through into adjacent rooms where you'd have like a hallway room with a little puzzle room at the end of it, and a hallway room with a little puzzle at the end of it. And like I said before, the hallway changes after you power up, after you divert power towards the main room. And that lets the elevator go higher. And then, I don't know, maybe there's more of that. And then eventually you get up to the boss chamber. And I think that's a boring dungeon. That's practically linear. The only thing that has going for it is the hallways that you go through twice. that you go through one way and then it's different on the way back. That's the only thing this dungeon layout has going for it. By comparison, Chapter 1 dungeon has this unique idea that gets... I hinted at it 3 times because at early testing, people were a little bit confused and not sure what to do next. It's all about this big gate. It's about this big gate at the end of the dungeon that takes you to the boss. And I spell out pretty clearly, like, oh, it's that way. That's the boss. But first you got to get through the outer gate. And so you're like, okay, aha. Over here, we have a little cinematic scene with the character to just kind of fill in some details and really spell out, you know, what's going on here. There's a button here that controls this gate. You can open it or close it. So you open it, great, and then you walk in here. A little bit of plot. Only one way to go. So you head off to the side room where it's a little bitty puzzle room. It's a little bitty puzzle room, easy baby puzzle, optional reward if you explore a bit, a couple of enemies to watch out for, and then you go upstairs. And now you're on top of these little ledges that are lining the fort walls, and you find, hey, this gate, there's a little ledge that I can walk across the gate. Okay, so you use it as a bridge. I even force a fight on the bridge with the bridge as a special background. It's a special battle. I'm really hammering home, like, this is noteworthy that you are walking across here. And then you can walk across to here, and you get to button number 2 that opens this gate. So that frees this guy and lets you through here. So you can hop back down, because you can't get across this bridge because you opened the gate. You see? You opened the gate, and now you can't cross this bridge to button number 3, which controls this gate. And I spell out, hey, this button over here controls this gate. So you walk back down here and you close the gate again so you can cross the bridge, but oh, now I can't get through the door. I can't get through the door to go back up and cross the bridge. So you go this other way, and that takes you through a little fight. And then, oh, now you make it back into the main courtyard, but this time the door's closed, so you can kind of loop back around, cross, open. So it's a circuitous route through Dungeon 1. Dungeon 1 has a lot going on with it. It requires you to not just think room at a time. You're having to consider this whole area as this single unit. And so even if we had like 2 more rooms, let's say, that do something interesting, it's like, that's not much. That's just solve a room, solve a room, solve a room, solve a room. Fight a boss. Not super interesting. I want to drive home the electrical charge system being an integral part of the puzzle. Of like, you have this new ability. Wouldn't it be interesting if you use it? I think so. I think that'd be interesting. Also, I would love one big central room that you keep coming back to. Let's do a slight perspective here. Big central room that you keep coming back to with like a big obvious door at the end. Big obvious boss door at the end. Okay. Let's see. This water bottle is so leaky. I've been leaking water like every time I take a drink. I'm just getting showered. We can still use the hallways. I think the hallways are still good. So the idea is you have to go down and you divert power into the room. But every time you do that, there's some central puzzle. So let's talk about the wire puzzles we have in this dungeon. Let's actually jump over to one. Let's jump into the power station. let's take a look at this. This is probably not the interesting one. I don't even know if this works. Power Station Hall in 2. This is slightly better. Okay, so this right here. These little power boxes. So the idea is electricity is coming into them, but oh, I need the electricity to be going out, back towards the hallway I came from. I need the electricity to be pumped in. So you interface with it, and then it's a time-based puzzle. And then you're like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. Oh no, that's not it. So it's just a little baby puzzle. It's not hard. You got plenty of time to solve it. And you gotta solve 3 of them before you get 3 failures, or else... I actually don't remember what happens. I'm sure bad consequences. That's not gonna work. Oh god, well wait, what if I do this? And then this, and then I can just go straight to the end. Okay, so that's the idea. So notice we've got this puzzle of basically pipe dream, right? It's pipe dream. Where we've got this grid of tiles that can be rotated. Okay. And the idea is you have to find a way to get things connected to the end. To win. All right, simple enough. And also here's a straight piece. So that's like that's the underlying idea with these little mini puzzles. What if we zoom out and make that a macro puzzle as well? You know, not just a mini game, a full-on dungeon game. What if there are level geometry pieces laid out in this area of the in this big room of the dungeon? There are these big old areas that you have to walk across, but they also have some kind of like geometry to them that, I don't know, how would that become, so it's like you have to rotate, that's a terrible perspective, you have to rotate these pieces, these entire level pieces around, and then that creates like jump up here and then jump up to this one but rotated is here. Okay. There's something to that. Or what if it's like bridge pieces? So it's kind of the same layout. We have the same sort of tiles. We have these exact same tiles, but instead of conducting electricity, they are the pathway that you need. So it is this large, like, piece of walkway, maybe over a large gap of some kind, or it's above you. Actually, there's something we could do with that. So this is like a layer, like a second layer to this main hallway. Is that usable? Is that usable? absolutely yes. Imagine, okay. So we've got this big room. Like there's Dabble. And then way up top, we've got like this catwalk system. But the catwalk pieces are like these little curly-Q things, and they're suspended somehow. Unseen connection to the ceiling. And then there's like some kind of entrance into this area. And then like the whole point is to get to the end here. Perhaps. So what could be interesting with this is that not only can you walk across the top, but we could have suspended from these, like little crane things that you could use Leon's movement ability off of. So it's like moving them is useful because you can walk on them, but it's also useful because you can swing under them. Maybe there's something there. Hi, Super Sonic. Like, it's definitely interesting for the fact that you can use, like, the top and the bottom for traversal with this new movement ability that we've got in Chapter 2. So maybe something like that. I like that idea, but I'm worried that it's going to be too hard to actually see what's happening. That becomes a very complex room to just take in. Project from last stream? Yeah, this game has been... I've been working on this game for about 18 months. So I'm going to continue to work on this. It's going to be... We're stuck on this, so get comfy. Okay, so something like that is we replace it with some kind of like rotating block puzzle. I mean, I'm certainly enjoying making it. I don't know if anybody else will enjoy playing it, but I'm having a blast making it. So at the end of the day, at the end of 3 years, I'm going to be happy about it. Hopefully some other people will enjoy it as well. I'll feel a little bit better about it. But even if nobody but my immediate friend group plays it, I'll still feel like I spent my time in an enjoyable way. Yeah, this is too much, I think. Flatten that out, though. Flatten that room idea out. And just make it like tiles in the floor that are walkways, and then it's just like, I don't know, bottomless pit or something. Who knows? Bottomless pit underneath it. This is Dungeon 2 replanning, because we are redoing a lot of the layout for the second chapter's end of chapter dungeon. And then we have to work on the boss, which won't be too bad. Oh, good old Pen Pals. What a game. What a game. Pen Pal... So, I've got this, this vague metric of success I use for games I work on, which basically boils down to... What's going on? Is she inside? Oh, nice. Well, she's stuck there now. There's the amount of time that I spend making it, and the amount of time people spend playing it. And that's like it. That's all I base it on. So Pin Pals, I did not spend that long. I think that was a 1 month project at the beginning, and then I put some polish on it and added more levels. So I spent not a lot of time, but people have put a lot of time into playing it. So that's Pin Pals. Dabble Worlds, I think, is still up there, and I still feel very good about it. But it's definitely below the Pin Pals curve. The hilarious one is stuff like Ball Catch Pro, which was a dumb learning project. It was the first game I made in Unity, which was just to learn it. And I just threw it up on the Discord, and people got into some very heated world record battles for Ball Catcher Pro. This game is like, it's gonna land on this axis right over here. That's where Paper Robot is. And I think even if the game is very successful, there's no way that it's going to be proportional to these. Like, this is the line of success, I guess. It's like if you're a sharper angle up, then it's weirdly a more successful game. I've just received a notification on my phone that I've received a friend request on Discord. I'll have to check that out later. That's a worrying thing. Anyway, let's get back to it. Oh, it's you. Okay. 99% of times I get messages on Discord, it's spam. Not like automated spam, like someone sitting down and saying, "Hello, would you like me to make you some emotes? I have reasonable rates." Like, no, please, no, stop. Anyway, all right, let's continue coming up with some ideas of how this is gonna work. See, I like this idea somewhat of having these big tiles that rotate, because if we play our cards right, we can make there be secretly one solution. We can make it look very open-ended. Okay, so like maybe we make this a fairly large and complex zone, and then when you're traversing it, we kind of pull the camera out a bit. So what's the trick with rotation? I mean, it could be that the idea is this is a puzzle. This is one big puzzle room that has a series of specific switches that can only be switched once, and they rotate just their respective piece. So what if we make it... Let's try planning that out a bit here. How big can we make this? I want these tiles to be fairly big, which means I can't have too many of them without the room being impossible to see all at once. But I want it to be kind of maze-like. Yeah, we could do 5x5. So you'll enter the room maybe from the bottom. And the tiles don't have to just be the same sort of pipe dream tiles. Like we can make some sillier looking ones. Quickly do one lever and then the other. No, don't worry about it. I've got it. I'll take care of the stuff. I appreciate the ideas, but This will be just kind of a planning, just getting my ideas out on paper, digital paper. So let's see. How many actual rooms do we want to go through? I get it. This project, despite proportionally how little we are into it, I have a great deal of it already planned out. Let's see. So we definitely want to have some horizontal entrances. So it's going to be kind of like a maze, but you're always opening up new paths. You're never closing yourself out. It's going to look more complex than it is. And big key is I want to have that, let's see, I want it to be visually obvious that these are kind of the same sort of pieces from the grid that you've been seeing. You need to be able to access electricity. So we need to introduce that up front. The ability to access electricity. But you'll need to get electricity from different places. So the electricity that you pull into Dabble, you get from these spinning gears, these gears that are like spinning and sparkling. And so we have to have a way to make sure, you cannot pull the electricity over in this case because of reasons, because you have to use your gear for something else. So we need to have areas in this that require using your gear to get across. And they will kind of clear the electricity and actually add something to the wall. I think, like hallway exit. Is the music complete for this game? Pretty much, at least for as far as the game is built. All right, so final exit is north. The two hallways seem good enough, and this one puzzle room to kind of piece it together. Kind of entry from the south. Let's see here. So we could have this kind of T-junction off or something. How big a room? Let's get back into this room here. Like, this could be the size of one tile, and this is like 10 units. So we would need the camera to kind of pan out a bit in places. 5x5 might be okay. We should probably say that using partner ability discharges the electricity. Yeah, so let's start with something to introduce that concept, that using Leon's ability gets rid of your charge state. So we'll have something like, maybe come in over here. Come in over here. You know what we should really do? I should really keep the grid on a separate layer. So we can delete things a little bit easier. Alright, so let's see here. Come in here. Have some kind of little little fork in the road, but oh, you can't actually go this way because it's pointing the wrong way. Oh, weird. This one can actually be nothing. But this one is going to be noteworthy for having a electrical point in the middle that you spend electricity at that will cause it to rotate into this pattern, and that allows you to proceed through here. Or does it? Does it allow you to proceed? Because then you can go grab more electricity and just bring it all the way around. We want to make sure that's not viable. So we're going to have endpoint in orange, source point in blue. So let's say we've got electricity source over here. Electricity source over here that you need to pull in. Have a good night. Gotta pull it there. Maybe even here instead. Straight line. Could do like this, so it like, oh, huh, that's weird. I can't get across here. Better yet, exit here, pull this up one. Enter here. Sure. Enter here. I haven't played It Takes Two. I know of it, but no, I haven't played it. So this looks like just a big loop. But this way you'll immediately see the receptor. Like, oh, how do I get that? Interesting. But you can't quite reach it. Yeah, but this is single player. I mean, you've got a partner, but they're always available. They're always plugged into the main character. So that does make it pretty different. How do I make it so that you realize, oh, you gotta... I want you to have to go over here, get the electricity, and then try to leave and find that you can't. So to do that, let's stack a... Oh yeah, that's an easy one. A piece that gets controlled by Dabble's gear. We'll represent that with pink. A piece that gets controlled by Dabble's gear, but you can't reach it because it's facing a different way. Okay, so it's facing like away. So you're like, ah, well, I guess I gotta go this way. We will have a Leon point, represented yellow here. A Leon crossing. So you have to use Leon to get across. And you can get electricity here. And you can proceed ahead if you want to. This will be like cross, but no way to get anywhere. This one, yeah. Let's let this be like a maze of sorts. It's like very easy to solve. You can see exactly what you need to do, but so this doesn't go anywhere, maybe. Or maybe it goes to some central piece that you can access but can't cross somehow. How does that work? How does that work? We'll think about that. We'll think about whether this needs to go. So here you go across and you're like, oh, well, I can use Leon's tongue to get across. And you try it and like, it removes your electrical charge. Like, oh, okay, I guess I have to go the other way. So you go back across. You get charged up again. This time you're like, okay, I'll go this way. Ah, I see there's something where I need my gear. You spin your gear, that also expends your charge. Oh, I see. So now you turn it so that you got this going on. And then you're like, okay, this time for sure. You go get the electricity. You bring it over here. Boom. That turns, and now you can access the north side. So it turns this, it rotates this one, so now you go north. That lets you get to this room. This room, we have a charger in the north corner, but it's inert until you pull electricity from the left wing. So we're at least going this way. All right, so now we've opened up this whole new area. This is the final, and maybe the final exit's like up here somewhere or something. It doesn't have to be right here. Because this is our final puzzle, is get electricity from here. So that can be, that's our next, get electricity from there for that puzzle. So similar setup. It would be really cool, I think, if you had to undo this. And we can make that happen. We can make that happen. Oh, that's devious, isn't it? That's the puzzle. That's the backtrack puzzle. Okay. We did something like this in Dungeon 1, where something you interact with to solve a puzzle opens a gate, and then you don't realize until much later in the dungeon that you have to reuse that piece. We're gonna do something similar here. This piece is manually spinnable. There's just a little gear in the middle of it, and you spin it, and the platform rotates, and that's it. Simple. Oh, I should definitely have like big plug-looking stuff from all these platforms, so it looks like these are modular pieces that you're like diverting power. Like there's some kind of power grid system underneath all this. That's the point of it all, is that these are actually big wires, big boxy wires. That's the theming there. That works great. And we'll just make kind of a dark pit underneath, maybe with some vegetation growing in it. Although it's not going to be super sunny, but maybe we throw in some sunbeams. Could look cool. But this one right here, you get to a point in the puzzle and you're like, I have no way to proceed. What do I do? And then you realize, oh, wait a second, I can backtrack to here because now this one is open, and I can redirect this one to face this way so that I can pull the electricity from here and pull it into the latter half of the puzzle. That's it. That's the gag. Okay, that works really well. How do we make that usable? Oh yeah, I gotta be careful because I don't want you pulling power across here. So I think what we'll do is we'll replace this with this here, which is a single path with a manual gear. And that just ensures that if you are crossing this, you have to use your gear, which means you have to discharge any electricity. So this is a filter for us. You can go any direction with it, but you can't carry electricity across. I think that's really usable. And because I want to use every cell, I'll do something with this. So you get this charged up from puzzle hallway number 1. And then you can use it over... Is this one hard at all? How do you avoid... What do you have to avoid with this? Why is it that this one is hard? Hello, casual. Why is it this one is... What are you trying to avoid using your gear on? Enemies in the way? Breeze blossoms that are trying to blow you off the ledge. Ah. I need to add something to the to-do list. There we go. I've got the barricade fight plugged in with a trigger and everything. I want to do a short cinematic beforehand just to give an opportunity for Leon and Kat to actually have dialogue with each other more. Because as it stands, I don't feel like Leon gets to talk much. Admittedly, if we take the analog of Thousand Year Door, does Koops get to talk much? He's the second partner, but you get him in chapter 1. He gets a lot of lines when you first meet him, and then he kind of dips out without joining the party, and then he does join the party. And how many times in the dungeon does NPC talk? Pixels. Thousand Year Door really ramps it up, because correct me if I'm wrong, but the pixels, excepting Tippy, the pixels only talk when you first meet them. Welcome back, Al. Al, we are plotting. Yeah, the partners in Thousand Year Door get so much opportunity to talk, and what I love about the game is every time a partner talks in the game, you would have gotten different dialogue if you had a different partner out. So you get so much opportunity for them to be like just interacting with the world. And it makes for an interesting replay. You're like, well, what would this person have said? And they all have decently different dialogue. Yeah, I decided the blue was appropriate. It's him, the Blue Prince. Okay, so the idea, Al. Orange is a place where you can charge up your gear with electricity. Blue is a place where you can use it to permanently change the rotation of that tile. And blue is the progression, basically. You get the blue there, you progress. Actually, you know what? And this door is going to be blue. There's going to be like a blue locked door. And that's going to be kind of the finale of this area. So orange, you get power. Blue, you spend power. Pink is a manual gear spin, which is noteworthy because you have to use your gear to spin that tile, which means you cannot carry electricity because you need the same button. Once you spin your gear, you are expending the electricity. So if you use that, you don't have electricity in. So you need to find a way to get to the location without using your gear. So the first one is pretty straightforward. Also, yellow is a Leon gate. You have to use Leon's ability to cross that gap, which I'm going to make that also discharge your electricity. So your first goal is get to a door. Yes, this is one huge room. I decided it makes the most sense to let's build off of the little wire puzzles. The little wire puzzles that are in the dungeon. It makes total sense to like expand on that concept, and after you do like a tutorial one before getting into this room, you access like the main power grid. Maybe that's what we'll call it because it's a grid. Haha. Yeah, life-size wire. It's good. It's good. And you're like redirecting these big tiles, and I think that's fun in a big room. And I can make these little modular pieces so they'll look cool and nicely detailed. So your first goal is just to you'll get to this room. And then that will turn on this charger node. Electric hazards are good. The hallways that lead out are going to be like, actually, can I access this? Does this gate work? Nope. I have some hallways, like this one here. The reflection is not great. It is fixed. It will be fixed in a later version of Godot, or I will just deal with it not looking great. So the idea is this is just a room with some enemies in it, and you get across and you turn on the power, and then you come back and now the wet floor is a hazard and you can't touch the floor. Good luck. And so it recontextualizes the room. It's like the threat was initially enemies, now the threat is the floor, and it becomes a platforming puzzle room. I think that's fun. It's cool. It's neat. And then there's a second room that does something similar, but it becomes a timing puzzle. Like it becomes electrically charged every few seconds. So it's like, oh, red light, green light. Jump to the next platform. Go, 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 go. So there's two of those hallways that are done. And at the end of those hallways is one of those wire puzzle games where you do that to turn on the power. And then you have to get back to the main room where now the power is on for that node, and you can use it to access some further area of this room. There will be a handful of enemies in here. Yeah, I did consider some kind of like remove powers thing. I don't know if we'll need more complexity or if this is enough. This is going to be vaguely similar to Chapter 1 Dungeon in scale, now that I'm really getting into it and seeing what there is. And also in, I guess, punchline of you solve a puzzle by opening a gate in Chapter 1, only to find that, oh, but now you can't access the thing you need. What are you going to do? Solve my puzzle, gamer. Similarly, in this big room, you are going to rotate a tile in order to proceed and find later that you need to rotate it a different way to actually reach the end of the room. That's the goal. That's the goal I've got in my head. We're going to try and position things to make that happen without the room being prohibitively huge for the average brain to hold. So this little one tile pink, this is a manual turn. The nice thing about this is it is a filter tile because the only way to go through it to a different direction is to spin your gear. So that's a nice way to prevent this charge from being brought into the next area. So that's good. So let's say the next piece is we're getting to here. Why would this be a problem? Okay, what if we do this blue? Because the idea is you need this orange to power this, and then you're like, what does that do for me? I guess it'd need to be a T shape, wouldn't it? But then it blocks off the right side, which I don't love. If we do that, then it's fine. So you can get across here. But then we need another blue here to get us to that point, right? So this lets us get to... I want us to go past the blue. I guess it'd be here. See, then there's not much danger. There's not much danger in getting to the next piece, because it's like you carry it from here to here. What? Okay, that's not hard to do. Was that supposed to be a challenge? Suppose... No. I don't want to make this room bigger if we can avoid it. But it's like, why is it hard to carry the electricity from here to here? There's nothing that's gonna make you use... Do we make it so that jump triggers a discharge and then have something where it's like, oh, you might be tempted to jump here. It would be easier if you jump, and not jumping makes this hard. Come get it from the other side. That's an idea. You know what? Here's the easy thing. Falling off. Falling off makes you lose your charge. And then I throw some breeze blossoms in that area. I think that's straightforward and easy. Yeah, that works fine. We'll just have them like positioned like here or something. Yeah, they don't even have to be accessible. They can just be an obstacle. They can be a constant obstacle. Not even a real enemy. I can do that. I can actually make it so that they never stop blowing and that they always stay facing one direction. So yeah, that's great. Okay, so you're gonna turn this one, you're gonna go into this room, blah, 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 turn it on, come back, come this way, avoid breeze blossom. Haha, that was nothing. But then, uh-oh, now I've got electricity charge and it's a little bit harder. Maybe you move a little bit slower with electrical charge or something. And I don't know. Then you pull the charge to here, and that rotates it so that now it faces this way. So that cuts you off from the north zone. That's fine. I'm gonna kind of dotted line the eventual position of these, I think. Okay, so then you get to pull it across here, and it's like, uh-oh, you're at what looks like the finale here of needing to get blue power here? Okay, hold on. So the gag is that this first pink one that you turn, after you've turned this blue one with the electrical charge, you want to come all the way back to this pink one and flip it back to its original orientation, which is like this, so that you can use this orange up here. Yeah, so I think what will happen is blue, crisscross. I don't want you coming up this way. Use the orange on this blue to make it so that you can access down, but that's not gonna, it's gonna be down here, not up here at the time. So how do I make it so that you can now return here, but you can't already go this way? You can't already go this way. Well, the reason you can't already go this way is... one way thingy. Okay, what if this is blue and it's a horizontal one? Hey, Liari. So it's like, you come here and it's like, well, you can't go to the door right away. No, that doesn't work either, does it? Or no, it doesn't. I need to make it somehow so that you get... The final position needs to be that you can now go here, and also somewhere that needs electricity. I want you to be able to get to... I want like this, I think. But I want the initial position to be that you cannot take electricity this way, but now you can take electricity this way. So it's like, if this is the final position here, what's stopping you from taking this electricity? If I want this to be consistent, that the electricity is reusable, like you can use it to clear out the enemies. There's actually, in the same way that you can gear spin into an enemy to start the battle with an advantage, if you hit them with electrical discharge, that also gives you an advantage, where they take some initial shock damage or something. I don't remember what it does, but it helps you in combat, so you could use that to your advantage. So I want you to be able to just keep using as much of this electricity as you want. So this is what I want the final version to be. But it starts... It has to start with this unavailable, because I don't want you going to the north half of this room during the first little learning procedure here. So this is absolutely not where you can't do it there. That's not allowed. You need to be able to proceed, so I guess we could do up instead of right. And then when it rotates to be down and left, which forces you, that forces a position where you're like, oh, what's the only thing? It took us a lot of grinding for the parts, but we now have it, the legendary stream. It only has like slightly more health, and that's the only benefit. But it's more about the bragging rights than anything. Gosh, I want to play more Factorio. I can't believe I've committed to this project. I cannot in good conscience install Factorio for like the next 3 years. But on the plus side, That means that space exploration will probably finally hit 1.0 by then. Okay, so you will... What can we do here? I don't think I should. There's plenty of other things I could do for a Christmas break. Christmas is on a Thursday. I'm not even going to be streaming on Christmas. That'd be weird. Okay, so you bring the electricity here. Why here? Why would you not go straight for the door? It's true. Like, I'm really looking forward to being able to dive back in for I want to do like a 200-300 hour. I want to go crazy. I want to get all of the things. I want to get all the planet mods. I'm just gonna go nuts when this is done. But again, we have like 3 years of dev left on this. Maybe 2 with a 3rd year just for QA and polish, but still. All right, so you bring the electricity to here. That rotates it. Why? And then what? Then you can't do anything with it, can you? Rotate it again? Rotate it again. It's double rotatable. No, we specifically do not want these blue ones to be double rotatable. They can be rotated once, and then they're locked in because we don't want people accidentally undoing their progress. I want this to be you only move forward. You can never undo your progress. Because I think the room is so complex that we really need this to be planned out very well to make sure that you can accidentally solve it. I want you to feel like, oh, look, I figured it out. Even though, well, you didn't really, don't get too full of yourself. I did a lot of the work here making sure that it's pretty much impossible not to figure it out while still looking very complicated. I'm trying to hide the fact that there's ever really only one thing you can do. Maybe I could move this over. Yes, it is. Oh my gosh. This is the Skyward. No, it's different. It's different, but it's, oh man, there's a lot of DNA there of that one dungeon. Which admittedly, I thought that was a very fun idea for a dungeon, and I felt clever for solving it, despite the fact that there's really only one way to proceed at any given time. Perfect. Yeah. You know what? Skyward Sword had some good ideas, despite some bad ideas. And that's a real shame, because it could have been one of the greats of the Zelda series, and instead it's just kind of, it was pretty good. Had some ideas. I will say the tech wasn't there. The tech was not there for the motion sensing. Oh no, don't make me feel old. No. I've still got my original copy of Link to the Past downstairs, hanging on the wall. Now, I played that a lot growing up. Okay, if we move this over, then it gives us a little bit more wiggle room. But it also means we lose out on the Leon segment, but I think that's okay. So let's do that. Let's lose out on the Leon segment. So initial position here. Do something here. And then something like this here. Oh, okay, good. Whew. Okay, yeah, all right. You know what? Skyward Sword in college. All right. Reasonable. We're good. Everything's good again. Oh. Okay, this is doable. Something silly here, maybe. A viewing platform? Like, when you stand here, the camera pans out really, really far, so you can actually see the complexity of the room and be like, oh, that'd be nice. Let's see here. Okay, so somehow you do something happens here that lets you get across to here. I need to prevent you from carrying electricity this way, I think. Okay. There's something to this. The idea is that this orange one lets you turn this blue one here, which opens the way for you to backtrack to the beginning and realize, oh, I can backtrack and then turn this another way so that I can use this electricity up here. Wow. Even though you can't use this electricity anymore. Why can't you use this electricity anymore? That's the piece I keep getting stuck on. If I can reach here with this electricity, then I guess I need to basically cut it off completely. So you bring the electricity here, yes, but when you do that, it gets rearranged to this, and now you don't have the electricity anymore. Ooh. No, that's not quite it. That can't quite be it, because why can't I just keep walking? Why can't I just keep walking at that point? I can just walk right past it and go straight to the end. That's the idea, right? Is that I'm trying to get this electricity here. Why can't I take this electricity here? Because... Okay, this one needs to be pink then. This one here needs to be pink to make sure that you cannot take the electricity this way. There it is. There it is. So you get here initially like this, but you need to get over here. We'll move this one up here, I think. And that's nice for symmetry. Okay. This is coming together. This is going to be the main overarching puzzle of the dungeon. This is the hub of Chapter 2 dungeon. So it does need to be pretty rock solid. Okay, so using this, you turn it so that it's facing this way. So you got a top right bend. And that allows you to access yet another room. Hooray. And in that room, you turn this one on. And now you can come back here and walk up here, and there's some minor something or other here, I guess. I don't know exactly. Some kind of mini puzzle of, you gotta turn this and wiggle that in order to be able to carry the electricity across without using your gear spin. The nice thing, actually, it might be that it's going to be one of these, where it's like this. It's like this. Thank you for the follow. All follows are anonymous. I hope you enjoy the show. Okay, this might do the trick right here. Okay, check this out. So pink indicates that you can manually walk up to it and change its facing, but you cannot do that while you are carrying electricity. So you have to make sure that everything is facing the way you want it to first. So you would come out of here, come up into this one. You rotate it so that it has to go up, because that's the only thing you can reach. And then you rotate this one so it goes right, because that's the only thing you can reach. Okay. So now you've got, this as your pattern. And then you walk past the electricity and rotate this one so that it faces this way. Cool. And then you rotate this one so it faces this way, and you've done it. So you have to mess with all of these for this little puzzle. And what does that grant you? Crap, what does that grant you? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Shoot. What does that grant you? Blue electricity cuts this off. Can't carry the... What was I doing here? Use your blue electricity. Here? No, because that's still... How does that get you here? So you can do this. But you can't get across here because of this one. Oh, wait. What if that gives you the ability to rotate this in such a way that you can now access this area? But how do I make it so that also cuts off? How do I make it so that also cuts off going back to here? That's really what it boils down to. I need something that can simultaneously open the way back to this zone while closing off this zone. And it feels like what I would want is something that would like rotate this into a straight vertical. And it's somehow that lets you... Oh, you know what? This might be it. Just this. And this. I think that's it. Okay, let me check my work here. Let's check our work here. Does this give us everything we want? So here, you can't go up. When you're in the first section, you haven't done anything. You're just wandering around like, what is this room? What is this weird, mazy room? Oh, look, I can use this. Oh wait, I gotta make it so you can't go back. So we gotta change this one to pink. Yeah, okay, perfect. So this is like, oh yeah, here we go. I'll rotate this clockwise. Tick, 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 tick. Now I can get over here. Now I'll go back. Uh-oh, I just realized that I cannot turn this while carrying the electricity. So get rid of the electricity and puzzle it out a Fitbit. What do I do? What do I do? I'll go up here and rotate this one 90 degrees and this one 90 degrees so that they're connected and I don't have to do any turns. Now grab the electricity, pull it back here. This one, tick, 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 tick. Cool. Now you access the filter to make sure you can't carry the electricity any further. And boom, you're at the first hallway. You go to the hallway room, the puzzle, the fights, the return trip. Now there's electricity here. Cool. You walk up here, you grab the electricity, watch out for the wind effects. Whoa, a slight hazard. And then click. Tick, 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 tick. Now, because of the way that rotated, you can no longer access this, and you still can't pull this to the north side because of this room. Now you can proceed. You walk through here. Weird. This apparently is the receptor. That must be where I'm trying to bring the electricity. Okay, gonna do my best. You get to this room, you're like, oh, that's... Now, this one is currently like this. It does not... You do not have this here. So now you got to do this little puzzle here of like, oh, I got to get to this room. I can't do anything with this because it's turned off. You go over, you do this hallway, the little wire puzzle, hallway return trip with a battle. Boom, you're back. This whole section is its own little mini puzzle of its own. I really like how this one turned out. You have to use all of these. You have to use every single one of them and have them positioned. Great puzzle. Love that. Okay, you grab the electricity. You can bring it back. You can return here, but it won't do anything. In fact, make that a filter just to ensure they don't even try. Just to make sure we don't even try. I think that's cleaner. Yeah, so tick, 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 tick. Okay, so now you can come here, you bring the electricity here, and now the final state of this dungeon is effectively a straight line, and all that remains is this one here. Dang it, there's no... I guess that's okay. I guess that's okay. It's not my dream, unless there's some way that I can force you to go from here and turn this around and stuff. Because in its current state, you can just... Gosh, it's already time to end stream. Is there a way I can force you to go right? Yes. Pink. Clear. Clear. No, even leave that one up. Red herring. Red herring. And now you get here and you're like, oh, okay. I'm back at the start. Tick, 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 tick. And then you're like, oh, I need this electricity. And then you have to do one final little bit of reworking. So that has to be turned. And then you have to turn this, and then you have to turn this, and then you can go. Yes, perfect. So that one is really good because you actually end up using this one twice, and that's neat and interesting. And holy cow, this is about as tight as you can get it for this. There's a lot of puzzle going on here. It looks super complex, but stink bug. But there is only ever one path forward, which is absolutely what we wanted. Holy cow, we did it. Okay. This wasn't a night without actual progress to check into the repo because we did get the new status effect finalized, tightened up the action command for Leon's new move, gave him a little animation for it. So there is actually... We actually did some coding. That's huge. But I think what I really love is that this is going to speed up actually rebuilding this dungeon. The hallways work fine. The hallways are still fine. We're not touching those. It's just this main room. All right. So the final layout of Chapter 2 Dungeon is going to be intro room, which is already done, small little foyer where you do a little tutorial wire puzzle where we're just introducing the concept and making sure you understand the rules before we get you into the main dungeon. Possibly a little fight room, just to give you something to do. And maybe to show give you another chance to use the little discharge electricity thing. I think that would be good. And then that deposits you into the big puzzle room. Big puzzle room spits you out into hallway number 1 and wire puzzle number 2. Return, do more big puzzle. Hallway number 2 and the final big wire puzzle. I would love a secret room where there is a super hard wire puzzle. I don't know where we're going to squeeze that, but we'll find a spot. And then after you complete that, that gets you into the boss room, and we're done. This is nice, compact, clean. I love it. Secret. Notable thing is you cannot access these rooms once this main puzzle is done. That's very important to note because it means we cannot hide any secrets that you can miss. Anything in those rooms, we gotta be careful not to lose out on secrets. So any secrets we place probably gonna be like over here, a little secret room. That's it. All right, great. I love it. I'm gonna pull up Twitch and we're gonna look for who we're gonna go to. GQ is off to the retro, so we may be hopping into his place. So new move, here we go. The Paint Feint, which I love the little animations on this. And then I think I need to like fade out the background a little bit because that first little bit of the first little paint spot is not super noticeable. But luckily that is really easy to do. We're gonna do it as a color rectangle. And we're just gonna scale it to a ridiculous degree and call it a day. We'll go grayish. Alright, is it gonna be GQ? I think it's gonna be GQ. Alright, check that Paint Feint. That better. Slow it down, hang on. Let me adjust that coloration there just a bit. Let's go a little bit more. Yes, but new problem. The spikes are not super noticeable. Oh, also, they don't need the areas anymore. Found out. Sprite. Let's bump it over. Bump the region over. Make it red, and make the polygon red also. There we go. One last test. Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. I know this wasn't as much actual programming and building. This was a lot more design. But I think it worked out. Yeah, all right, there we go. That's a great one. Still a great stream. Yeah, I think that was extremely good. Alright, let's get out of here. I got work in the morning. I love the little doodles. The doodles are great. I wonder if I should add like a little splotch behind each one. Like some random splotches that can show up. Oh, it's short. Bye, short. Aw. Aw, look at him. He's in his element. He's an artist now. Should that just be his new... No, that's not going to be his new default. He's still just the guy he always was. But he's also an artist. He's not a one-trick pony. Let it never be said that Leon is a one-trick pony. He's a multifaceted character. I will be back tomorrow, and we will actually start building the dungeon. To-do list says that pretty much all we have left for our initial MVP for Chapter 2 is the dungeon, the boss fight, and whatever cinematic happens after the boss fight. And that's it. Very exciting. Goodbye.